I give things away, and I have to learn how to receive.
Right, because, the truth is, in any kind of energy, you cannot give out of deficit.
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
Right.
Because
that's right.
People who do nursing know this. You just go to work day after day after day, and you realize that you're putting out so much, and then you have your family to take care of when you get home. And then when you realize that it's like, well, where's my time? Where did I ever go in that? I remember years ago when I was raising my kids, I never had a hot meal.
Right. Well, that sounds like deficit spending. And we know that's not working. Look at the collapse of everything going around us. You said something really interesting yesterday, and I wanted to refresh my memory because I was taking notes of pertinent things when we were on the phone. And I think you mentioned something about using the left hand to receive, the right gives, and then you blow in. You were talking about crystals, I think. And then you blow into it, and this was how you... Do you remember that part of the conversation?
Yes, I do.
Could you tell us all again, because I would like to know how to do that.
Okay, sweetie. Well, actually, if I talk to the public, I want to tell you that I do vibrational healing, and what that means is we can use tools. We have tools available to us all the time, whether it's herbs, crystals, light and color and sound. All of these things are vibration, you see, and so you use them. You are the director of it. It doesn't run you, and you don't sit there and go, oh, I don't know how to do this. What you do is you direct yourself to it and use it as a tool. And so the first part of that has to do with crystals in general have to do with you are magnifying your energy. And isn't it a great time to know that when the universe is being magnified with so much with the solar flares? It gets exciting because it's actually our time to learn about magnification. And what we're doing is we're becoming more than we ever were before energetically. If we allow ourselves to, we have all of the tools to do it with. And so when we take a crystal, we actually, I'll show you how I do it. I take 2 crystals in my hand, and now I have to tell you, left hand is your receiver. Your entire left body is your receiving side. Okay. Entire left body is your receiving side. It doesn't matter if you're left or right-handed. Okay, left is the receiver. This is the language of the human body. The left is the receiver, and the right is the giver. And so any time that you think about it, whenever you want to pat somebody on the back, use your right hand.
Okay.
Whenever you want to read their energy, use your left. Like I did for Danny and Brinkley in 1995.
Oh, my. Okay.
And went, wow, he's true. But the left hand is always going to help you to pick up on something. Okay. If you don't think you're intuitive, you're incorrect. Right. Every single person is intuitive, and we're getting more into that as time continues into our 2012. We'll go into that later, but right now I'll explain more about the crystals. The crystals are actually your tools. So if you take 2 crystals, one in your left and one in your right, and you actually blow if you blow a name into there, now you have to have permission of the person you're working on, of course, if you're going to do it for a person, but if you're going to do it for your own leg, let's say, like for me, I sprained my ankle about a month ago, and Jupiter went into retrograde, so did my leg. And it said, Mona, slow down a little bit.
Yeah, right.
So what happened, when you take 2 crystals, you can blow the energy of whatever you want into the crystals.
Okay.
You can use that. And then if you really, really want to get fun with it, if those crystals have a terminated point, you know how you'll have a double terminated crystal? Okay, well, if it has a terminated point on both crystals, you can actually put those 2 together and you can create a laser.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, baby. That's what I do for people. I'll use the laser. I'll blow their name into the crystal, and then I'll clarify it with spirit, make sure that the name is in there, because I'll feel the energy of that person now into the crystal. The crystal's only a conduit. You can change it any minute you want to. That's why they're so good for you. And, of course, you'll go into the colors of all that stuff. But the most important thing is if you get a clear quartz crystal, you can use it to help release energies and also help magnify them. So whatever you want to do, the world is ours. We can play with it. It's whatever we want. You see?
Good, yes. Now, when you blow do you blow into the right side or the left when you do the process? I mean, you have 2 crystals, one in each hand. You can't blow in both, can you?
Yes, why not?
Oh, you blow into both? And
sure.
Name. Okay, I got it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so then you're okay, which becomes a receiving and giving.
Right.
And then when you put them together?
Yes, it becomes a positive, negative charge.
Okay.
You become a battery.
Oh, okay.
See, then at that point you have the left and right, you have the receiving and giving, and you become the battery, and then you blow the name or the intent.
Okay.
Into the crystal, and then you can actually run it over an area of your body or somebody else's. It works really good when you're with somebody else, and if they're doing it for you, because it's where that two or more are gathered again.
Oh, right.
See, we need each other. So that works even more when you have somebody with you. But if you wanted to do it on yourself, you certainly could. There's no reason why you couldn't do that either.
Mm-hmm. Good. Now, so we were also talking about the power of the sun and the beneficial process that is going on with the solar flares, and also we were talking about the power of water and the healing powers of both. Would you like to address that at all before we...
Absolutely.
Okay,
I'd be very happy to. You know, Lance, people have gotten on my website in the last couple of months. They've seen the article that I had that was about the sun. It is...
What is your website right now so that we can...
Oh, it's www, obviously, .sacredreconnections. It's all one word.
Right.
sacredreconnections.com.
Great. So you wrote the article about the sun, right?
The solar flares,
solar flares, okay.
Yeah, and people who are afraid, science and media have been pretty bad about making us afraid of the solar flares. And you're going to hear YouTube things like, "Oh my God, we're going to blow up," and we're going to burn up in the atmosphere. It's like. No, people, get it together, because really this has happened so many times before. It's not about that. The sun is a loving cosmic entity, all of its own. It's energy within itself, like every single planet is. And you can actually diverse that right back down into cities. Every city has an energy. So everything is energy. And I get all excited about this, because the thing about it is, nowhere have I heard where fear is a part of spirit. Okay, and the thing is, a lot of people are afraid today. They're going into fear because they don't know what's happening. They haven't been educated. And when they hear the media talking and they get scared, then the first thing you do is say, uh-oh, now what? Well, it's no different than having a little bump on your leg and saying, oh, God, is it cancer? You're going to say, of course it's not cancer necessarily, but it's the first thing people think of is the negative. Now, my suggestion is to recognize that these solar flares are meant to magnify. We are all one. The Earth is one with everything else, and as time continues in 2012, the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Native American, all of the shaman races have always told us how oneness is unified clarity for the consciousness that's coming into our world. And the thing we really ought to do is be jumping up and down and being grateful that it's here. Yeah. And so my suggestion is recognize that the solar flares, I've been taking pictures of the sun since 2006. You and I discussed that.
That's right. Yes, you have thousands of pictures, yes?
I took 3,000 pictures in Hawaii in 2006.
Wow.
I was instructed by Spirit. I get called by Spirit to do things, including ceremonies for the earth, ceremonies for people, whatever it takes. If I'm called to do it, I live my life according to what I'm called to do.
Right.
And so basically the sun itself is coming forth to help our energies to magnetize and to magnify. So what that means is if you have an emotion that you've been carrying all these years, guess what you're going to do? You're going to amplify it. Right. Because the solar flare is saying, bingo, here's a little bit more. Here's a little bit more. And so what do you want to do with that? What do you want to do with that? Do you want to go into fear? I don't think we really want that. I think we're a race that wants to really understand what the feeling of peace is all about. Mm-hmm. We want to be at peace. We're tired of it. Remember the movie Avatar?
Yes.
Remember that saying, and I don't know if you remember this, I have a memory like an elephant.
I do,
but
too.
Remember, my elephant
that.
brother. Yeah, remember there was that time where the shaman mother looks at Jake Sully, and Jake Sully says, I just want to be like one of you. You know,
yes.
and she turns around and she looks at him and she says, "It's hard to fill a cup that's already full." You know,
yes, that was great. A great
okay,
one.
well, we've been full, okay?
Yeah.
So we have been full, and there isn't a lot of people you can talk to that don't feel that way. We're tired of the past, but we don't necessarily know that we are. We're working on trying to figure out why the chaos is so strong. Why are we feeling so mushy in our brains?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we feel like we're not getting sleep?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah. And see, and it's all part of this. It's all part of the changes in the energy. But I'm going to ask you to embrace it because it's part of where we're going with it. And if you're aligned with it, then you go, "Oh, I can take a nap later." You know, or there's other ways you can work with this energy because we are going through it. We're not going to get out of it.
Right.
This is what we decided and we agreed on to be here to do this.
Yep.
You know?
Perfect. Yes, absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely right. And there's no, that's the same thing that I came to in September, which was my birthday, which reminds me that you and Mahala and I are all Virgos. I hope you don't mind me saying that. We're well different, but we're remarkably, you know, we have some striking similarities, our brilliance and our wisdom. But just kidding. But seriously, folks, I've been going through this since September and, you know, getting an hour, 2-3 hours of sleep a night. And I realized that, okay, this is the turning point. I have to face what is coming and go through it. There's no longer a moment or an ability to postpone anything.
Right.
And so that's, I think, what you are talking about, that we are at a point where we can no longer put off or postpone our lessons. They are here, and if we postponed a lot of them, then there's just more baggage that has to be dropped.
Right. Well, Lance, the truth about this whole thing that we're going through right now is nothing will ever be the same again.
Yeah.
Nothing will ever be the same again. We are gradually moving into a new time. Greg Braden made a wonderful comment. Oh, God, he is great. But he made a wonderful comment at the 2012 Gateway to Your Future conference on October 22nd and 23rd. You can still download it, but you can downstream it and you can hear it. But on the 23rd was the second day.
Okay.
And his comment was having to do with the Earth, our relationship to the Earth, how the changes are occurring, all of this. I mean, he gives specific details of where we are today. Now, one of the main comments that he made that I was very impressed with is he said, with all the scientific background, okay, he said, we've been wiped out 5 times. Okay? Humanity's been wiped out 5 times. We had floods, we had fires, we had all the elemental, you know, we died from element stuff. And so, but now what we're doing is we're coming into a time where this is the first time that this is about movement. It's not about elements anymore. We've already accomplished that.
Right.
Now we're at a time of movement. So that's why our time in history is so completely different than it ever has been before. And the exciting part is that we're moving into a time where we're making these choices. And so come backing down to your personal choices. Your personal choices are going to make the difference as to how you're going to include yourself.
Yes.
Into the humanity changes of where we're going. You're just as important as the entire humanity itself. You are humanity in a nutshell. This is what Bruce Lipton tries to teach us, is that we are a cosmic universe within our own soul.
Yes.
So what are we waiting for?
Right. And the whole business about this is really an important concept for all of us to remember, is that there are no victims, that if we empower the elite or the Illuminati or the bankers or the reptilians or the Dracos or anybody, the Archons, if we give all of those thought forms power over us, then we simply are disempowering ourselves.
Right.
So to take our power back, we need to know that we are sovereign beings within, and that these choices are all within our control. Well,
exactly. Yeah. And you're right on it. Because, you know, so many times in our world today, we have already been too submissive over the years.
Right. Right.
Which is why the government won in so many ways from the past, and now we're standing up and saying, I don't think so anymore. We're not going to put up with this anymore. And it's our choice. It's our choice. But I would like to see humanity grow. I'd like to see it learn and understand that we have these choices, and we don't have to be on drugs to do it. Life itself is a drug.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. It really is, and it's addicting. When you're in the moment and your pineal gland and your other glands are functioning properly, once you remove the fluoride and the minerals, the inorganic minerals, and again, I'm not giving those things power over me, but they are within our